sitting on the floor. Also, you probably always see me with these earbuds. Listen, I love these things. I can hear, whoa, my voice is really loud. I forget they're in a lot of the time because I basically live in them when I'm at home. Not sponsored, but they're from JLab, which I love. I love JLab. Again, not sponsored. If they wanted to sponsor me, that'd be great. If I could get these in 5 different colors, that'd be awesome because I genuinely love them and they're my favorite. They're nifty. Anyway, don't even know why that was in there. What I was thinking about is why we always settle. And I think for some of us, we settle in situations, whether it be work, relationships and stuff, we settle because of a flaw in how we view ourselves. It's the way we view ourselves. We settle for what we think is going to bring us security and safety. And oftentimes when we settle, instead of believing that we are capable of more, what we end up doing is actually sabotaging that ability to feel really stable and secure, because what we're actually doing is not fulfilling our emotional needs. And when we're not fulfilling our emotional needs or not seeking what we deserve rather than just what we think we're capable of, we settle. And settling, it's this misperception or misunderstanding of the information that we are trying to implement into our life, because we think that settling is how we remain safe. It's how we achieve the things we need to achieve in this life. But that's actually not true. Oftentimes settling is going to remove us from what is meant for us, from what we actually deserve. And it's going to take us out of the running for it. Let's say you have $1,000 but it's like your first $1,000. You love this $1,000 so much. You don't want to lose this money. And you have a 99% chance of being able to invest that money in something and receive something bigger in return. There's a good chance of that, especially if you put a lot of time and effort into that thing. But instead, you see an opportunity to only spend 2 to 5 of that $1,000 so you can keep that money. And so you only spend $2 to get this lesser thing so that you can hold on to this money. But this version of you that you have the potential for could be making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million. You could be a millionaire. But what you settled for instead was spending $2 or $5 on this, not really investment, but just a thing, so that you could feel like you have checked off all the boxes you think you need, but not any of the desires or wants or things that would fulfill you. And take that as you will. I feel like that's a really strained metaphor, but I know what I mean. When there are 2 things, one of these things is unknown, uncertainty, right? And so we assume, which maybe it's a logical problem, I don't know, we assume that this thing that takes less risk is the safer choice. But sometimes what this does is lead to depression, despair, disconnection, discontentment, and really just self-hatred and self-disrespect and self-sabotage. That can come from this settling that's taking place, when if we actually risked something, the rewards could be so much greater, and so can that stability, because it'll be from a truer place, from a more deep place, from a well-discovered and understood place, when you actually let go of the reins, similarly to trusting spirit in my last video. When you release the reins and allow a little bit of risk and allow a little bit of unknown, oftentimes it'll lead us to a place that we weren't even sure existed, and sometimes we don't even know that place exists. And so we settle thinking that this is actually the only realistic approach to living, but it's actually just our mind trying to steer away from risk. And often this can lead us in a much worse place than we would be if we allowed a little bit of risk, calculated risk, trust, faith in this thing, and make sure that it is more aligned with our goals. If we have a deeper desire, if we go towards that, very often we open up doors and open up and expand more territory that we actually didn't know existed. As we settled in this environment, we didn't know this one was even real, right? So when we get this way, we keep moving this way, eventually we realize and start opening up to the fact that there's actually more meant for us. It's not even just for safety and security. There is more meant for us. We are deserving of more. There is more world that we are meant to traverse personally that is meant for us. And I think that is something that only really opens up when you allow this little bit of risk. I wasn't really sure where this video was gonna go when I first started recording it, but I guess what I'm trying to tell you is sometimes the safe bet is the one that will lead you to despair. And the one that seems like a risk can very often be the exact place that you're called to journey, and can very well be the exact mountain that you've been meant to climb your whole life, that you've been destined for. And the difference here is, are you going to allow yourself and your own limiting beliefs to keep you small and safe, to stay in your comfort zone? Are you going to allow the bigger story of your life to unfold? Are you going to allow yourself to have stories that you can tell your grandchildren, that you can tell strangers to change their life? Are you open to having a story that is bigger than just the normal one that you were okay living up to this point? Because this is a crossroads. This is what happens. We come into these crossroads situations in life. One of them seems safe on the surface, but what you don't see is all of the energy drained, all of the emotional outburst or lack thereof because you're suppressing it inside, all of this feeling of lack of unworthiness and of despair. We don't see that in our settled life because we assume that this is how you live a life. And then the other choice, the other road, the other route that is basically singing to you. You're dreaming about it. You're thinking of it all the time. You have this deep desire, but you don't trust yourself. And so we don't go that way. We don't take that route. And I'm not talking about negative, scary risks. If there's a crossroads and you literally see a tiger right here, and the other one literally has just some birds flying and some pretty flowers, yeah, you're gonna go rest on the other path, right? Obviously. But things like this are not so obvious. A risk that can lead you somewhere that you've only ever dreamed of. And what I was saying before is sometimes it doesn't even look like a risk. It just feels a little uncomfortable. It's just a little out of your comfort zone. When you get a little out of your comfort zone, it actually expands your world so much. And I know I've talked about this a little bit in a couple videos on this channel, but you don't know which choice is the right one until you actually make a decision that is aligned with your highest potential and not just with your need for safety, security, and comfort. And I believe in you. I really do. And I know you'll make the right decision for yourself. And sometimes settling is good, is in settling down, right? As in peace, being the place you're meant to be. But the settling down I'm talking about is when you stay somewhere for too long because you feel like it's the only safe and secure bet. But I want you to bet on yourself because you are worth more, you're more deserving, and you have a lot more to give and a lot more that is ready to come to you when you stop limiting yourself, when you journey on, even if it's hard to see through the fog, because you'll make it there, because you're meant to. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Bye, guys.